All right, everyone, jumping into the Flex Friday video here for you guys, starting out with the MLB props that we currently have. Obviously, Flex Friday, trying to run out typically a 3 to 4 slip bet, and that's going to be the case today, I think. Right now, as it sits, as I'm recording this video, really not that many good prop bets on the board today. Yesterday, I kind of mentioned with the bet of the day that I thought it would probably go 3 for 5. That's exactly what happened. Now, in general, was able to have a decent day. The tennis prop was able to middle. I called out some props on the Discord, PGA-wise, that were discrepancies that shouldn't have been happening. That resulted in a decent day. So no complaints about yesterday, but that's kind of the expectations for today, is that it's a tighter board. It's just not the best board. Right now, MLB-wise, we really have one good prop bet, I would say, pitching-wise, and then we have 2 others that are going to be decent, maybe 3 others that are going to be decent. But when we do like the pitching, we'll just sort by pitching right here, pitcher. And then I'll show you guys, like, none of the top props are going to correlate with the projection data as well. So that is a concern. Okay, that is not something I feel the need to go in on that much. Obviously, we do want the data to correlate with how the projection data is suggesting compared to the PrizePicks line and everything like that. But the best one that we are getting right now is Zack Wheeler for over his fantasy points. Vegas really likes Zack Wheeler today. Okay. And I feel like this is a good indication as to why, if he's going to be getting around 7 strikeouts, yeah, that does make sense why the data would like him. In terms of earned runs allowed, 1.5. So if we just do the math on that, I mean, that's a lot of points right there. 21 points just pitching, maybe minus 4.5 points when you take around the earned runs, but 19.5 pitching outs. I mean, that's a ton right there. That's a quality start as well. So to me, when I'm looking at the data here, to me, I'm guessing that the projection data basically is saying that he's not going to get a quality start, and that's what it is. So he only projected to get 5.7 innings in comparison. So that's where the projection data is different. Obviously, if he gets one more out, 5.7 innings, then that's most likely going to be a quality start. So I don't mind the prop bet. It's decent on paper. Obviously, again, if he does get 6 innings, then he's going to get the over fantasy score. That's really what this is predicated on. That stuff all goes hand in hand, though. If he's not giving up a lot of runs, if he's getting those strikeouts, the pitching outs, that stuff all goes hand in hand. But I do think that's the best prop bet. I already tossed out that I probably would be running this out with the Scotty Scheffler free square. Now that's probably going to be live by the time most of you guys get in here to watch this video. But if it's not, Scotty Scheffler free square, uneventful morning. A lot of you guys probably know by now I cover fantasy golf. Half of the website is a fantasy golf website with 9 to 5 Sports. So much so that I created my own 9 to 5 Golf YouTube channel. Pretty crazy morning for golf. I mean, most of you guys watching this probably know. I mean, there's never been a day morning like that ever in golf. I mean, that was crazy. But applaud Underdog for giving us that free score. That's awesome. But yes, I'm going to be pairing that up with Zack Wheeler fantasy scores. And then also these other fantasy score ones, they're decent, but we can see it like on paper, like Freddie Peralta under 33.5 fantasy score. The data likes the projection data, not too much higher. That one's a decent one on paper. Obviously, if we're looking for a Flex Friday slip, I'm kind of okay with that. Same thing with Andrew here for under his fantasy score. This is kind of my long way of saying, and even Paxton, kind of my long way of saying that, if it's a bad day, I wouldn't say it's shocking. Just because, again, to me, I'm reading this board, especially MLB-wise, which is the props in which we have the most of options-wise. We're not getting that many. Really, the best one that we have on paper today is going to be Riley Green for over his hitting fantasy score. Average sportsbook line 7.3, projection data 8.2, and then PrizePicks line 6.5. Pretty good edge. Then if we look at it, projecting at about 3.9 at bats. If he gets that, should be able to get his over as well. So decent one on paper, but that's it. We got, I would say, 2 really good prop bets MLB-wise, some okay ones there for pitching fantasy score, but that's really it. So with that, let's jump into some basketball here. Basketball, we got Andrew Nembhard for under his fantasy score, 20.5. That's okay. Dante DiVincenzo for over his fantasy score. Another one that's okay. I really don't mind DiVincenzo's over fantasy score. I do expect those guys to continue. Jalen Brunson for over 6.5 assists. The projection data likes him to get 8. So, really a couple of decent ones for the Knicks. Obviously, we want the fantasy score, or we want all of our prop bets to be over 54%, but still not bad. We'll take that. WNBA-wise, we'll take a peek at that. I don't think we're getting any good ones today. We had one good one yesterday that ended up cashing. The fantasy score one, nothing really here WNBA-wise. Yeah, this doesn't seem like a big enough edge for me to really give that pick to you guys. We'll jump into PGA then, see if we're getting any good prop bets there. We're really not, just as an FYI. Prop line difference wise, just no huge edges. Really just Xander right now for greens and regulation. I would actually like the over on PrizePicks. I know the data is kind of telling us the opposite of that. Projected to get 12.6 though. So I mean, you know, I'd rather go with the over on PrizePicks, but you could bet the under on Underdog. Obviously, hope that you try to get a middle decent, but that's really it, guys. Nothing too huge. Discrepancies wise, going to be exactly the same as well. Where the best one that we are getting on paper is that the MMA one. A couple of map 2 kills for COD. You know, those shouldn't have prop line differences, but that's kind of it. You know, it's very tight board as it sits right now. So again, not my favorite Flex Friday day. You know, last week, very solid board. Very much loved the board last week. This week, it's okay. Like, I don't expect big things here. I don't expect to go 6 for 6, but it is a Flex Friday day. So I will say, like, these two I feel pretty good about. Like, these two right here, I kind of feel comfortable with those hitting. If you guys want to attach another one to that, a 3-slip bet, Flex Friday slip, you could run that out. But I decided to make it a 6-slip bet. Just a little bit of uncertainty, I guess, with today's slate. Just going to be rolling out the top 5 prop bets, MLB-wise. And then I went with Dante DiVincenzo. I think I like his prop the best. I'd rather bet him for over than Andrew Nembhard for his under. Maybe that goes hand in hand, but, you know, okay board today. But that's going to be all for today's prop. Just a reminder, if you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. If you guys are going to use that Underdog free square and you've never signed up before, well, let's run this out real quick. Use the promo code 9to5. That'll help kick back some money my way. It's always greatly appreciated when someone uses that, especially in the summer months where there's just not as much action going on. But that's going to be all for today's video. Drop a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. And as always, let's keep catching.